I would like to welcome everyone to this episode of the podcast. And today, or let me say, our topic for today is from Sudan to BUK, a medical student's journey through insurgency and academia. And we have a wonderful guest with us who is going to share her story with us. So I'll give the floor to you to introduce yourself or telling us your previous school and other things.
Hi, good day, everybody. My name is Sumayya Hassan, a foreign level medical student here at Bayero University Kano. I recently transferred from Sudan, from Bayero University Kano, one of the many universities there in Khartoum, and a lot more outside Khartoum. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Now, this episode is going to focus on comparing and contrasting the two medical schools and discussing her personal experience. So, the first question we would have for you is, can you briefly share your background and reasons for transferring from Sudan to BUK?
Alright. Firstly, of course, my name is Sumayya Hassan. I from Yobe State. I went to Sudan around 2019. It was just the experience. I loved being there. It was quite nice actually. And all of a sudden, I found myself here due to the whole situation, the insurgency going on there, which is not totally a bad thing per se, but it is quite something abrupt.
Yeah.
Which will give you a bit of shock, but then I have learned to enjoy my stay here. Alhamdulillah.
That's good to hear. That's nice. I'll kind of say, everything is kind of destined and, all those things create a beautiful story. And look at this now. The insurgency have brought you here, and today we are talking about this, which is a story too.
Yeah, of course, definitely.
So now, what I would like you to kind of tell us is that, can you tell us your initial experience and feelings when you first came to BUK, like your expectations and, feelings when you first came to this school?
Initially, before I even went to Sudan, I started studying here in Nigeria, in Yobe State University. I had my level 1 there, and then transferred back to Sudan. So I kind of have a little bit of experience with the Nigerian university system. But when I came back here, it was something completely different because, for one, I'm not in my state, in I can say a bigger place, a more busy and robust environment.
Sure.
And at least I was a level 1 then, and now I'm in level 4. So it was something, if I could say. And the initial feeling was that, okay, I am now a foreigner. Like, I don't feel like I am back home. I feel like I'm now in a different country. Like, I'm from Sudan because I'm studying in Sudan, and now I came back to Nigeria, which is like I'm coming to a different country. And the way I could say we were received by some of the classmates were like, oh, these are the Sudanese, and we are Nigerian. So it was like, hey, I have a Nigerian passport, I'm Nigerian too. And it was, there was a side.
Extent, right?
I know exactly.
Yeah. I can relate with you, the couple of Sudan ladies and guys, most of them are ladies. Let me even say it clear, because there's only one guy that was sent to our class. So when they first came to our class, any small thing will be tagging the Sudan people. But now we are together now. We are one.
So exactly, Hassan got point.
Um, so the next thing we would like you to kind of tell us is, can you kind of compare the resources, like the facilities available in over there and here, like things like library, labs, we don't have simulation center here. I don't know whether you have there and some other things.
Well, one major difference is here in Nigeria, the NUC
Yeah,
controls all university activities.
yeah.
Like it gives a sort of rule for everybody to follow. But in Sudan, it's not actually like that. Every university can have its own different calendar, different methods of teaching, different everything. As long as they meet that basic requirement that was given to them, they can have, uh, almost all the private universities have different methods and different everythings. It's just the syllabus that are similar.
All right.
So in my university, like many of them, we don't spend a whole year
Wow.
doing basic sciences. We just spend a semester, or some universities spend even half a semester, and then they start their basic medical sciences, biology, the biochemistry, the physiology, and the anatomy. While here you have to spend a whole year and then 6 years. But there it's just 5 years. And the second thing is we have a semester calendar, while here is sessional. We
Yeah.
write the MB at the end, while we just have our normal semester exams at the end. And in terms of facilities, I could say even smallest, the unpopular private universities are actually quite well equipped, because I've been to quite a few of the universities and seen for myself
All
how they're
right.
equipped. Some of them will be just a little building or two called a university, but what it contains is just fascinating, especially the labs,
Okay, like,
the
do they have this skill lab? Medicine now, most of the big schools, they deal with skill lab where you can just see the mannequin and you'll be testing your skill, physical examination on them. You don't have to disturb patients.
of course, a lot of them. There's a whole room full of them.
Wow.
You just go there in your free time if you want. In some universities you have the time, you go there, you practice all you want, you can practice on your friends, you have everything to yourself. And for dentistry students, they have all the phantom heads available, all the porcelain, all the impression materials, everything is there for you to try and try and try and perfect your skills. This medicine of a thing is a hands-on.
Yeah, it's just like an apprenticeship, right?
Exactly. So you need to be familiar with the skills, not just have the stuff. So, and there they actually concentrate on having the skills. So there's a lot of practical work going on since level 1.
Wow, that's nice. That's nice. When you have been saying this, I've been wondering how you are coping when they will go to ward round, a single patient, maybe you'll be having 20 students, two or one consultant. I don't know how. How are you coping?
Oh, we cope because you have to blend in. If you can't beat them, you join them. It's not fun actually,
It's
but
true.
then you have to make the most of it,
You
because
know,
that's what's available, I guess.
sometimes it pains me that, here in BUK, we are paying quite to, like a good amount of money, but even the classes, the seats, you could imagine the seats, they are not even good. Like, just example, this C block of a thing, they cannot even come back and help us repair the seats. So it's something again.
It's
So
quite
that's,
unfortunate. Okay. Yeah, definitely.
thanks for sharing that. Now, the next thing, like the campus life there and here and
Yeah.
student culture between the two schools, can you kind of like help us compare it? I don't know about that place, but campus life here in UK or AKTs, it's very boring. So, in compared to that place, what do you think?
Well, in most universities, there isn't really a campus. Few do have campuses, but most of them, students just rent apartments just outside school.
Okay.
And then you go in, you do your learning, and then you come back. But hostels are usually private.
Okay.
Except for a few.
So you mean you don't have like occasions where you come together, maybe the school hall, have some fun activities?
You know what I mean? Academic fun activities?
It can be academic, it can be extracurricular.
Well, of course. It can hold in the hostels, it can hold on campus in some hall. There's actually more free time there than here because of the nature of the studies.
Yeah.
There's more practical and less tough, as we call it here. So there's more time to actually develop your outside medicine skills, your interpersonal relationships with people close to you, your other skills. People can be crafty and some are into tech and everything. So the actually support system is quite strong there if you are kind of a networking kind of person. But if you decide to be reserved, then there's there's a lifestyle for everybody. But for me, I actually appreciate being here at AKTH campus because it kind of enjoys this, what can I say, community.
Okay, the community itself, meeting diverse people and all those kind of things, right?
I think it's part of, I don't know whether it's part of the curriculum itself that people have to study together and work together. You learn this teammanship. You work together, you're in a team together, you go, you come back, you read, you revise together, you have some group discussions, which is something I didn't used to have there in Sudan, probably because of my choices, I don't know. I know a lot of people used to have some things like that there, but personally it's something I started doing here, I started engaging in, and it has really helped me because, you learn from your peers, some people above and people below you.
Wow, that's great. That's great to hear, Charlie. Now, can you compare the teaching method, examination style, and practical training here? Though we've talked about some of the rounds already, but most importantly, we've not talked about the teaching method, which I'm sure it's kind of different, and the examination style. I'm not sure, but I used to hear that you guys, your examination, it's basically either MCQ or OBJ. There's no essay. So what can you say about this?
Yes, most universities don't have essays. From university, I think from Alban, we used to have essay, MCQs, and OBJ. But we didn't used to have MCQs because it's just a single choice question. Essay, SCQs, and we have orals.
Okay, wow.
And then in the clinical aspect of the study, of course, there's the clinical examination. But it is semester-based, not sessional. Not the professional exams at the end of the year.
So what do you think? Do you think the essay-based exam is better, or do you think the objective-based exam is better?
Well, personally, if I read well, I prefer essay because it's what you see is what you get. But this essay, this what is it called? The
MCQs or OBG.
Highly subjective. You can think you know something, and then find out that you're wrong. And so many things can go wrong. You can guess and get it correctly, and you can think you get it right, and then when the results come out, you'll be surprised. But this essay is actually what you write that will reflect. Although it also is kind of subjective because every teacher has their own methods of marking, but at least it encourages you to know, I don't know, quite something, to know a lot, to actually be able to write down and not just tick or pencil.
The essay exams or practical itself, it requires a lot of cognitive workload. That's why most people are running away from it, because there's a lot of cognitive friction that comes with trying to like generate idea and arrange it, put it in order and then write it, rather than just guessing when you think this is close to this can be this, let me subtract this and choose. So that's why. But actually international exams like USMLE, they are all OBJ based, and guessing does not really help. It's knowledge that help actually. So thank you for that. Now the next thing is like this learning experience, the differences in this learning experience, how has it impacted you?
Well, when I transferred here, the thing that shocked me the most was, the size of the classroom.
Wow.
We were plenty. We are a lot. We are almost, I think, over 200 in our class.
Yes.
And, it's overwhelming. 200 people in the class.
Wait, what about there? How many are you?
There, we're just around 45, I think, because the class is split into two.
Oh, wow. That's nice, actually.
When the idea is when you are too many, not everybody is going to be carried along.
Yes, and the universities here, they are not even after carrying you along. they are just waiting for somebody to fail and let the person come back and receipt and all those kind of things.
That's very unfortunate.
I used to say this a lot, BUK and most of Nigerian university, they are not after student learning. It's just like a job to the lecturers. They just want to come and do their job, get paid and go. If they were actually after students learning, they will be improving some of the things. They will be like, okay, students are not really doing well here. Let's tweak this and that. So,
it's not the ideal, but then that's what we have.
Yeah, sure. Thank God for that, actually. So, the next thing I would like to ask you is, now, we talk about the resources and all those kind of things. So the next thing I think we've not talked about is the challenges you faced while studying in Sudan, particularly due to the insurgency. Like, I don't know if you were there when the insurgency kind of like started or you left very early.
Well, there has been a series of minor problems politically that were going on even well before 2023. There were a few coup attempts, and sometimes we'll be under lockdown for some days until the city or the town subsides. When there's a political unrest, there's going to be thuggery and all sorts of violence on the streets. So you have to stay indoors. All academic activities have to hold. But They didn't need to happen much. It was, I think, if I can recall, only 3 incidences when I was there. And this last one that occurred was actually in Ramadan. And I came back just around about 10 days prior. So I finished the exam. Well, Sudan, the calendar is different for each university. So some students were on holiday like me, and some were actually writing their exams.
No.
Some are almost, and some just began their
session.
The new session. So it was just terrible for the people writing their exams, especially the final year student, because they found it very difficult to get transferred to final year, to given admission into final year. So they had to be demoted, which was, I can't say unfair because that's the university policy or the national policy, but it was quite demeaning and quite demoralizing to them, because a year is deducted and another one is added because of the educational system here. Medicine, nursing students, you study just for 4 or for 5 years, and now it's 5 to 6 years, and then you're being demoted back. So
Yeah, sure. Somehow.
yeah, but apart from that, studying in Sudan has been lovely, honestly. The experience was just enlightening and educative, informative, not just academically but socially.
Yeah. And that's what life should be about.
Exactly.
So, what are the challenges and opportunities you've experienced in BUK so far? I'm sure there are a lot of challenges. So, I'll be hoping to hear the challenges and experiences.
Challenges. The first one would be to actually adapt, because I've been away for 3 to 4 years.
Wow.
And just coming back here suddenly and parting abrupt was something that needed time, needed to adjust. And people are quite different, even though they are my country people, but I haven't been living here for some time, so I have to kind of adjust to the way people are here, and especially me that I'm not from Kano. I didn't live in Kano, so there was this kind of culture shock, because I was used to the culture there in Sudan. And another thing is that
so let me a little bit cut you short. You said you have been used to the culture there in Sudan, which is different from here. What's the peculiarities of the culture in Sudan, which is different from here?
Well, one thing with Sudan is, I don't know, this thing of being, you feel like you are free, you are kind of there to study. So whatever happens, it's all going to be in your favor, because what brought me here, what's my goal? I came here, I left my state, I left my country, I came here to study. So everything I see here is just, I'm just in school, whether inside, in the campus or outside. The people, when I first went there, the Sudanese people were like Maiduguri people, which is almost home to me, because I'm from Yobe, and people there, Maiduguri, Borno, Yobe are like the same. So it's like, okay, these people are like my people. But apart from,
well, I thought, sorry, I thought they speak Arabic there. So that means you can speak Arabic?
They speak Arabic. They speak Shua. What can I say? The people in Maiduguri speak Shua. Yeah. And Shua is very, very close to Sudanese dialect. You know, there's Arabic, the grammar Arabic.
Yeah,
that
sure.
we are taught in school.
The and Quran
the
Arabic,
dialect
right?
Is, exactly, the Quran Arabic is totally different to the Sudanese dialect. And that Sudanese dialect is very, very similar to Shua Arab. Okay. Which I could understand. And you know, the mode of dressings, the kind of the wedding, the interaction, they are almost like Maiduguri people. Wow. The Kanuris and the Shuas. And I couldn't speak Arabic fluently before going there. So I learned Fusha there, the grammar Arabic.
Okay.
And perfected the Shua, but I could understand a little. And it was just a whole experience.
That's nice to hear. So let's continue with the challenges and experience and opportunities.
Right. Another challenge is the academic workload, because there, of course, you know, the syllabus are pretty much almost the same, because you learn pathology, you learn pharmacology, all the stuff. But the way they are given is quite different. You have a lecturer come with some few slides, probably 40 slides, 35, with some illustration, comes and spends a lot of time discussing with you, explaining to you, you understand. He gives you references, you go back to read if you want. You know, you can force a horse to deliver, but you can't force it to drink, right? So,
yeah, sure.
All these things, the kind of the workload isn't this much because you're just given the way you are treated. We're treated there is like, okay, you're students, you don't know, and you're here to learn. So let's just take things bit by bit. Let's make this learning enjoyable. Let's make this journey
Memorable, right?
I don't know what to say. One full of experiences and enjoyments and achievements. But here, it's just, this is the workload, this is the notes, these are the slides, go and read and learn and come back and write your test and examination.
I always wish in the future we would become teachers in Nigeria and change things, but I don't think this is what education is all about. It's, all this confusion of you'd see a student is completely confused all the time, just trying to cram things just to pass. Things have changed actually.
They have, and they should here also as well, because it's like we're living in 1900.
Sure, and the world has already passed. We are in the AI generation now. Who even cares about what you cram in your brain? So things are changing.
Yes, that's it.
I was waiting for you to talk about the light and water.
Light and water. I've almost gotten so used to it that I forgot to mention it.
Wow.
But yeah, they say home sweet home.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
You just have to make compromises. You can't complain all the time. Because you're just going to waste energy and mindset on unnecessary things that you can't directly influence. You can just, hope and make some suggestions and just pray for the best. That's just it.
But if I may ask, do you used to take bucket to that, what they call it, car wash to fetch water yourself?
I have been there once, which was one of the worst mornings in my life on campus.
Once.
Because I had this lovely lady that used to help me fetch the water.
Yeah.
And for a few days she wasn't around and I was just devastated. So there was this morning I woke up, I didn't have water to actually bathe. I only had drinking water, the pure water bags.
Okay.
And they won't be enough for me to bathe with, even if I empty them all into the bucket. So I just left my room immediately after praying Sumayya. I went to the car wash, and I was just, I almost cried there because it was so devastating. I went there so early and I met almost 10 people before me.
Wow.
And the cars were just two, and we were just waiting in line, and the sky was becoming clearer and people were coming, were just jumping in, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is my fate today. And after my bucket was filled, I couldn't even lift it up and put it on my head. People had to help me put it on my head. And from there to the hostel, I had to spend more than 10 minutes. It was such a time difference. I went to and fro, backwards and forwards. The water was spilling all over. I was like, oh my goodness. Which year am I living in?
This is so unfortunate.
Yeah.
I'm sure you must have give them this story at home.
I actually didn't, because what's there? It's life.
Sure.
You came here to learn, and it's not just academics that you learn a lot of other things, because in Sudan I learned so much more than the tertiary that took me there.
So it's nice you are kind of seeing all this as a learning experience. I like that kind of motive that you have, because life itself, we learn everything. In the future, we could tell this, it could be something that people could listen to and, they would marvel to it, or maybe they would learn from it. So,
they say, gives you lemons, you make lemonade.
Sure.
That's what they do.
So what about few opportunities that you, maybe one or two that you've kind of pick up from BUK, coming to BUK?
Opportunities, I would say.
Opportunities experienced.
I would say I am opportuned to be in the midst of quite wonderful people because, everybody can look ordinary from the outside until you interact with them. I have quite wonderful classmates, some of which are either, I don't know, I could say they are just superhumans, and it's just an honor to be with them. And, the Kano, the Kano society itself, I learned so much more than I think I could learn about my country because I was in this tiny Yobe state and now I'm in this huge town, huge city, I could say, with a lot of diverse people and, I get to learn a lot from my friends from the north, from the northwest, from the region that I'm not from the south. It's quite lovely actually,
This is
learning
nice.
about your own country.
This is very nice to hear. Kind of, I would say you are a person that socializes with people from what you have just said. Nice to hear.
Hmm.
So now, how was the experience of transferring schools during a time of insurgency impacted your personality and like impacted you personally and professionally? How has it impacted?
Firstly, it was such a rigorous exercise. We were told to fill so many forms, to do so many things.
Wow.
Me living in Yobe, we have to go to Abuja to the Federal Ministry of Education to go to the I think 11th or so floor. You go there, you wait in the mornings, the afternoons, you wait in line, do some regularizations. You have to go to the court, do some affidavits, do some signatures, come back, go
Oh
to
my God.
BUK, do some submissions, come back again, go for screening. It was such a rigorous exercise. But Alhamdulillah, I got selected and I got admitted because some of my peers actually did this, went through this and didn't even get admitted, which is even worse and more terrible.
So,
But despite all of this, Alhamdulillah, I got admitted. So I could say it paid off, but it was not nice. It was not a pleasant experience.
yeah,
Though educative, but not pleasant.
this stuff is more serious than we see it. We thought it was just kind of you guys just coming, applying, and you got into the school.
Oh no. Oh no. It included a lot of prayers actually and a lot of efforts.
Wow.
It was
Even prayers.
I had to pray to get admitted because I just couldn't afford dropping out of school.
So, aside
What will
from
happen?
the payments that you have done in different places,
Of course, you have to pay in the court you go. You have to pay in jam office.
sure.
You went to jam office multiple times. You have to go pay in the Ministry of Education. You have to pay in BUK for transfer fees, for revision fees, and finally for registration fees. It was quite something, and all in all, rounded up, I think it was something like 900,000.
Wow. Let's just say almost 1 million. That's it.
Yeah, so alhamdulillah for the admission gotten.
Which I think, when we were in level one, the tuition fee is around 38,000 naira. I think somebody can even graduate the whole university, and the hostel is just 7,090 naira. Somebody can graduate the whole MBBS from level 1 to 6. I think not spending more than 300k.
Well, that was then with a lot of ease.
Yeah, you guys came when the hike happened. I think the hike happened when we joined this level 5, because the last tuition fee we paid was 48,000, if I'm not mistaken, for level 4. Then
Wow.
5, they raised everything. So it is what it
From
is.
48 to 220. That is serious.
Yeah, it's the nation that caused everything to be like that, actually. So nice
That's
to
so sad.
hear that. The next thing we would like to hear from you, we are towards the end. It's
Mm,
now looking at the future
mm.
and your experience. So has it shaped your future aspiration, or is your future aspiration still the same?
Actually, I wanted to be a teacher
Wow.
from day one. From my primary school, I wanted to be a teacher. So I thought, why not teach medicine?
That's
And when I was given admission to study dentistry, I then thought, okay, why not go into community dental public health? Because
Yeah.
in my environment, I don't know of Kano, but I think here in the Northeast, we have quite a terrible dental hygiene, and it's
In the whole
affecting
of
the whole
in the whole of the
community.
nation, it's not just about Northeast. I think there are very few amount of dentists in Nigeria completely.
Exactly.
I've
There are very
forgotten.
few.
I've forgotten the statistics. But my friend just graduated this year from Unimed dentistry.
Yeah.
In fact, the statistic is very bad, which is why I think World Bank used to support the graduates for them to be able to do a private practice, for them to stay home in Nigeria to develop dentistry in Nigeria. But it's very bad.
Well, it's an aspect that needs a lot of work. So I was thinking about that because even in Sudan, they give a lot of, I don't know, effort into dental health and public concern. They have a lot of dental clinics along the roadsides, but here it's actually in Kano that I see one after like a kilometer or so, and I see another one there. But in Yobe, I don't think there are more than 5 or 3 dental clinics.
That's very bad, actually. And
It really is. So
if
I'd like to actually do that.
you have a very good
Go in.
aspiration, I must
Mhm.
say. And I wish you should do it in Nigeria, like stay in Nigeria to develop Nigeria, right?
I hope so too, but you know.
Let me not say anything from your laugh.
Oh,
I must
just
say,
don't.
there's a saying that they used to say in Broken, they say, body no be firewood, so everybody would love to enjoy, right?
Actually, yes. Since you brought that saying, there's also a Hausa saying that goes, "The ruwan ciki ake jana rijiya."
Sure, it's true. You have a point.
You have to empower yourself before you empower the people surrounding you.
Sure. And I would also like to say that, you can be empowering the people and at the same time empowering yourself. Even
Hmm.
if you are not at home, the most important thing is just always look back home, Northeast in particular, which I'm from. It's a very poor region and
I'm telling you, that it's just sad. It's very sad.
we can do a lot. Yeah. So I guess we've come to the end of the episode, and
Lovely.
the takeaway from this episode that I want everyone to get is, the story of a wonderful student from Sudan who came back to Nigeria, and her coming back to Nigeria have make her to be inspired to kind of give back to the community in the future. And this is lovely to hear. So what are the final thoughts that you have for the audience?
Well, for one, learning never ceases. As long as you're living, you're learning, either academically or non-academic. You have to be developing yourself. You have to have an open mindset, a growth mindset, because every day is an opportunity to grow and to improve. And you have to be resilient and adaptive, because everything can change overnight, literally. This is just what happened to most of us from Sudan. It just happened at night, and in the morning, halas, everything changed, and probably that's forever. That is a permanent change, something that's not going to come back. So whatever happens, just embrace it and pray it's for the best, and then navigate your way through it, and then just have a growth mindset, just have an open mindset, be hopeful, and hope that everything falls in place with time.
Thank you very much, very, very much, Sumayya, for your time. I'm so glad that you kind of create time, part of your, let me say, busy schedule or not so busy schedule, to share some of these things with us. So,
It's an honor to be with you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
yeah, bye.